Hey fellow travelers, I am Alp Galip. Join us to explore Porto, Portugal, one of Europe's most charming cities filled with history, culture, and unforgettable views that make every step a new discovery. In this Porto travel guide vlog, I'll show you the top 10 best things to do in Porto, Portugal, best places to visit, hidden gems, and must-see attractions across the heart of Porto City with my personal travel tips. By the end of this video, you'll find the most important information for your trip, and I'll be waiting for your likes and specific questions as a comment. When I first arrived in Porto, one of the most unforgettable experiences was strolling along the Ribeira District, where the colourful houses and the lively riverfront atmosphere made me feel like I had stepped straight into a postcard. Walking slowly through the narrow cobblestone streets of Ribeira, I noticed how every corner seemed alive with local restaurants, street musicians, and small shops that gave the area its unique charm. The atmosphere along the Douro River in Ribeira was especially magical at sunset, when the golden light reflected on the colourful facades and the traditional Rebelo boats floated gracefully on the water. I highly recommend sitting at one of the riverside cafes in Ribeira, because sipping coffee while watching both locals and tourists enjoying the view is one of those small pleasures that makes Porto feel so welcoming. Spending time in Ribeira also gave me the chance to interact with friendly street vendors, and I remember picking up a small handmade souvenir that still reminds me of that special evening. From Ribeira, I made my way to the iconic Dom Luís I Bridge, which is not just a structure but one of the most recognizable symbols of Porto. Crossing the lower level of the Dom Luís I Bridge on foot gave me breathtaking views of the riverbanks, the Ribeira District on one side, and Via Nova de Gaia on the other. What I loved most about this bridge was the chance to go up to the upper level, where the metro passes, and walk along it with sweeping views stretching far across Porto. The sense of height when standing on the upper deck of the Dom Luís I Bridge was thrilling, especially at sunset, when the city turned into shades of gold and pink all around me. Taking photos here felt almost mandatory, because the angles you get of Porto from this bridge are some of the best you can capture in the entire city. In the heart of Porto, I visited Gomes Teixeira Square, which is surrounded by important landmarks and has a lively energy all day long. Right by the square stood the striking Carmo and Carmelitas churches, and I was fascinated by the intricate azulejo tiles that covered the side of one of them. The Fountain of Lions in the center of Gomes Teixeira Square quickly became one of my favorite little gathering points, with people constantly meeting, chatting, or resting by its side. I remember enjoying the youthful vibe of the area, largely because the square is close to the university and filled with students that keep the energy high. From this square, it was easy to start exploring other attractions nearby, and it served as a perfect starting point for an afternoon of walking through Porto. Another highlight of my trip was visiting Bento railway station, which is far more than just a place to catch a train. Inside Bento, I was amazed by the grand entrance hall, decorated with over 20,000 azulejo tiles that depict Portuguese history in incredible detail. I found myself spending more than half an hour just staring at the murals inside the station, because the artwork told stories that felt like a museum rather than a transport hub. The bustling sound of travelers combined with the elegance of the building gave Bento a magical quality, making it one of the most memorable railway stations I have ever seen. Even if you don't plan to take a train, this place is an absolute must-see for its beauty and historical significance. Clérigos Tower and Church quickly became one of my favorite spots to explore in Porto, not only for its Baroque architecture but also for the incredible views from the top. Climbing the narrow spiral staircase of Clérigos Tower was a little tiring, but once I reached the top, the panoramic views of the red rooftops of Porto took my breath away. The church next to the tower is equally impressive, with detailed interiors that show the elegance of Porto's religious architecture. What I loved about the Clérigos area was how lively the surrounding streets were, filled with cafes, souvenir shops, and the constant hum of activity. This is the kind of place where you can spend hours, balancing between history, culture, and the daily energy of the city. Another must-visit for me was the Porto Cathedral, also known as Sedu Porto, which stands proudly on a hill overlooking the city. The cathedral's fortress-like exterior was striking, and as I walked inside, I felt the weight of centuries of history echoing through its halls. From the terrace around the cathedral, the views of the city and the Douro River were absolutely spectacular, especially in the early morning when the city was just waking up. Exploring the cloisters with their tiled walls added another layer of beauty, showing how artistry and spirituality blend perfectly in Porto. This cathedral truly felt like the heart of the city, both in location and in historical importance. One of the most impressive places I explored was Bolsa Palace, a 19th-century masterpiece that showcases Porto's wealth and elegance. Inside, the Arab room stood out to me the most, with its lavish gold decorations and intricate details that felt almost unreal. Right outside Bolsa Palace is Prince Henry Square, where the monument of Henry the Navigator stands tall as a reminder of Portugal's adventurous maritime history. Next to it, I discovered Ferreira Borges Market, a striking red iron building that today hosts cultural events and exhibitions. This whole area felt like a blend of Porto's historical pride and its modern cultural life, making it a perfect spot to slow down and take it all in. Cais de Gaia was another incredible highlight, located across the river in Vila Nova de Gaia, and it's the best place to enjoy both the view of Porto and the famous port wine cellars. Walking along the riverfront at Cais de Gaia, I enjoyed the lively atmosphere created by cafes, restaurants, and street performers. I couldn't resist taking the cable car ride here, which gave me yet another unforgettable angle of Porto's skyline. The variety of shops and vendors made it a fun place to explore slowly, and I loved the chance to sample some delicious food with Porto's colourful Ribeira right across the water. Cais de Gaia truly comes alive in the evening, when the lights from Ribeira reflect on the river and make the entire area glow beautifully. Just above Gaia, I visited the Monastery of Serra do Pilar, which is not only a UNESCO site but also home to one of the most breathtaking viewpoints in all of Porto. The circular church design of the monastery was unique and made the visit even more interesting from an architectural perspective. From the terrace viewpoint outside, I could see the Dol Luís I bridge below, the Ribeira District on one side, and the whole of Gaia on the other. I stayed there for quite a while because the views were mesmerizing, especially as the sun began to set and the city lights started to sparkle. This spot made me realize why so many photographers and travelers say it offers the best panoramic view in Porto. Finally, I spent time on Rua de Santa Catarina, which is Porto's most famous shopping street and always buzzing with energy. Walking along Santa Catarina, I passed by countless shops, boutiques, and local stores where I enjoyed browsing both international brands and Portuguese products. The nearby Mercado do Bolhão was a delight, filled with traditional food stalls and an authentic atmosphere that gave me a glimpse of local life. One of the most beautiful surprises was the Chapel of Souls, covered in blue azulejo tiles that stood out like a masterpiece among the busy shops. Of course, I couldn't leave without stopping at the Majestic Cafe, where the elegant Belle Epoque interior made me feel like I was stepping back in time. This Porto travel guide gave you everything you need to know before visiting, from the top 10 best things to do to the most useful travel tips that will make your journey unforgettable. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this travel vlog, and of course, subscribe to my channel for more guides about Porto City and beyond. If you need more information, feel free to ask me as a comment and I'll be happy to help.